Hello, and welcome to the Air Doctrine Guide for NoStepBack. Today we're going to be going over every single doctrine for the air side, Air Doctrine. And we'll also be going over the Air Force Command, which was just added in this update in DLC. Um, so we will start from left to right. We're going to be going over each doctrine. On your screen now is um, basically the breakdown of what every doctrine is. This is according to the wiki, and it's still pretty updated. The only change that has been made, and it was with this update, is force rotation. Um, the air XP was changed from 10% to 5%. I know, such a big change, but that is the only change in the air doctrine for No Step Back. Otherwise, the entire wiki is basically accurate. Um, so, what we're going to do is we're going to start with strategic destruction on the left side. Okay, basically, you use strategic destruction if you're going to do strategic bombing of any kind, with strategic bombers, mind you. Now, it's pretty obvious that you would do it because it is called strategic destruction, but it does have a few extra modifiers. So, for instance, the fighter detection is good for hunting enemy fighters. The intercept detection versus the ground support, I would go ground support because actually you can take both. They're not mutually exclusive. Take them both. Then you get naval efficiency, and then fighters sweep and dogfighting experience. So the main thing here is: are you intercepting bombers or are you shooting things down? And if you're taking strategic destruction, you shouldn't have to be intercepting any bombers. So you should take air superiority. Again, these two are just you have to go down them. Now here is the big major decision here. On your right side is you do day bombing. It increases strategic bombing by 30%, which is a substantial factor, and then it also increases escort efficiency by 25%. Versus the left side, which gives a nighttime strategic bombing penalty minus 50%, which is massive. And then it also gives strategic bombing plus 20. It is 10% lower. But if you are strategically bombing at night, it is very good. There is specifically one major in the game that has a massive buff to this and can get it down to around minus 80 with their air advisor. And I will show you that later. Basically, it's England. And if you're England, you should just basically take night bombing and bomb Germany in the night and just have basically no penalties. Now you have bomber defense, which basically makes it harder for anti-air and fighters to shoot them down, especially if you have like 4,000 of them. It helps. And then you take both of these. There's no mutually exclusive option here, so you take air superiority and more strategic bombing. If you go to the right side, you have 50%, and if you go to the left side, you have 40%. That's all there is to that side. Battlefield support. This doctrine is basically: are you playing the Soviets? Are you playing Russia? Or sorry, the Soviets/Russia, Germany, Italy, Canada, South Africa, Australia. It's basically anybody that is going to use CAS and fighters and wants, bar none, the best fighters in the game to gain air superiority and do CAS damage. They get the air attack like everybody. They get the air support mission efficiency by 20%, which is massive. The ground support by 20%, which is massive. And here's your first choice. It's between the H generation and the air superiority mission efficiency. Take the air superiority mission efficiency. This is if you just want more aces or you're playing single player. Otherwise, the left side is substantially better. The hunt and destroy. Air support, gun again, good. Agility, and then air support again for your close air support is good. And then you can take every single one of these. You don't have to take the middle one. Don't bother. And you should not be tactically strategic bombing. There's a few case examples of it, but on the whole, it's not worth it. Just take the air superiority and the ground support. And then, and then you do naval strike. Sorry, I'm just reading the key point bombing or ground support integration, which you have ground support integration. Naval, good for bombing stuff at Navy. Strategic bombing, again, it's just giving you, honestly, I'd rather take something else, but this is what it gives you. And then intercept detect. It's useful if you're getting strategically bombed and trying to do intercept with heavy fighters. It is useful there. But then again, you did focus casts and fighters, and if you didn't win there in the Soviet Union, it doesn't really matter. And operational integrity is basically the doctrine that is confused on what it wants to be, and I believe, and according to the wiki, it is the best air intercept doctrine. It is also the best strategic tactical bombing doctrine, which makes a whole lot of sense. I know. So your intercept detect is plus 20, your generation and intercept mission efficiency is up, ground support's up, your fighter detect's up, your air support is up, and then you can take both of these. Air support is up, and tactical bombing, strategic bomber, which you don't need. Your agility, which is very useful, and your naval efficiency. Strategic bombing visibility. Basically, it makes them technically harder to see, but it doesn't factor in. You need to take strategic bombing if you're going to do that. Air skirmish gives you more ace generation, air superiority, and then a bomber defense. It's basically a doctrine that doesn't know what it wants to be. In theory, it should be good at intercepting, but it might be slightly above the other two. But if you're trying to get air superiority, don't take this. Take it for intercept, or you want a tactical bomb strategically, something. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the officer corps and the Air Force Command side specifically. So the spirit of the Air Force. We're going to go through all these. The Independent Air Force. Air Advisor cost minus 75%. Basically, this makes the 100 PP cost, or whatever cost this is, the 100 PP cost to 25. It is useful in that specific scenario, but it costs a lot of air XP to get only one advisor. In my opinion, it's not really worth it. Industrial Liaison increases your research speed on every single aircraft design by 50%. Very useful in every single situation, pretty much. Efficient training programs. Basically, your training of your air wings goes 25% faster. Basically worthless. Unless you wanted to train all your Air Force right before the war or some ridiculous notion like that. Branch Independent Spirit. Air XP is nice. The Air Force intelligence to others minus 5% is completely worthless because they will have spies in you, if they're players, and know everything about your Air Force before you even take this. And if they're AI, they don't use it. Air crew surveys. Air accidents chance minus 25%. Literally the worst thing in the game. The advisor is the worst one, and this is the same thing here. Now the air doctrine cost minus 50% is interesting because that actually might be useful. Because instead of it taking 100 XP to do every single one of these, it only takes 85. So, in my ranking, with just the base ones here, I would take the Industrial Liaison first, because it increases your speed. Or, I would take the Aircrew Surveys, because it gives you minus 15% off the doctrine cost. So you can get ridiculously doctrines a lot cheaper, or say. So now we're going to get the doctrines, because they add a spirit to each one of them. So for strategic destruction, it's going to add the industrial destruction. Basically, you lose 10% research speed on your thing, which is bad, but you have 5% on whatever token that is for. Now, the minus 75% cost to the strategic design cost and the jet strategic bomber cost are useful in a specific scenario. If you have 500 air XP lying around, spend 75 of it to change over to this doctrine, then upgrade the strategic bomber to as high as you can, because it'll be minus 75 when you're upgrading it. Instead of like the 25 cost, it'll go down to like 5 or 10, 8. It plays around as you go higher, but basically the point is you can get a very, very good strategic bomber for not a lot of air XP, or you can make your air XP go further. Now we're going to look at battlefield support. The air spear that this one gives you is dive bombing. Does the same thing, basically. If you have 500 air XP lying around, change over to this, dump all the XP into the plane, you have a very good cast plane. Yeah, not much to it. Operational integrity. Same thing. This one is just TAC bombers and jet tactical bombers. You have 500 XP lying around, change over and do the same thing here. These are all mutually exclusive to their doctrine, so you can't even interchange them. You're stuck with whatever one you had in your doctrine. So So now we're going to go over to the Spirit of the Air Force, and we are going to ignore this one because this is only available. We're just going to pretend that one doesn't exist for now. The Battlefield Air Interdiction. Escort efficiency +5. Ground attack factor +5. What does this do? It gives your planes a little bonus to attacking targets on the ground. The ground attack factor, according to the wiki, and I had to dig for this, it modifies the bonus of the airplane to attack enemy divisions by 0.5. 5%. That's it. What does that actually do? Nobody has any idea. You're going to get a lot of that in this. I'm sorry for it, but they just threw random things in, and there's nothing in the patch notes saying what they actually do. The veteran air instructor, air wing experience loss when killed is -25. Basically, lets your planes lose less XP when they get shot down. Not very useful. And usually, it's basically not that useful. But if you could get an elite wing of this, maybe, but not really. Centralized control, very good. Fighter detection +10% and air mission efficiency +10%. These are very good. Take them if you want to get more air superiority. Home defense, air home defense factor +10%. What is this? No idea. It's not in the patch notes. It's not on the wiki. We have no idea what this means. I am assuming it means if you're fighting over your home country or your core territory, you have a bonus to shooting enemy planes down. I'm assuming. Air power projection, same thing. We got no idea what this 10% means. Not in the wiki, not in the patch notes. No idea. Assume it means 10% better fighting, but I would take centralized control over this because I literally have no idea what this means. Now we're going to go to strategic destruction. If you take strategic destruction, you have the total devastation. What does this do? It gives you 10% more to do strategic bombing. This is a massive bonus. 10% leads to another 10% to all your strategic bombing, which here is +30. Then you get to another +20, which would be a +50 to your strategic bombing. You take this one, gives you a +60. Massive boost. Well, not really massive, but if you're bombing someone, take this and make their life even more miserable. Battlefield support. Battlefield support gives you the continuous strike. Air support mission efficiency +25. This is good. Basically, if it is here, it increases this by 25%. The air basically improves the tactics of the plane during close air support, resulting in increased dogfighting abilities. It makes your class planes harder to shoot down if they're getting shot at. So it's useful in that way, but if you want more fighter cover, take this centralized control for air superiority. And then the last one is the one called mass strikes. You get air superiority +5. It's just a +5. You have better at air superiority. Useful, but operational integrity is not very useful. Okay, so interspiced in the middle of this video is one of the air command doctrines that I forgot. It is the steel wings and steel hearts. Untrained pilot penalty for new air wings -33%. Basically, what this does is it gives these people a -33 to their penalty of 15%. That I guarantee you that penalty does not go away. It just makes it 33% less. Is this doctrine more useful than like centralized control? No, it's not. Just train your pilots. And this specific one is only available to communist governments. It is the only air doctrine or air command that is like this. It is the only one. Democratic, non-aligned, and fascist, they don't get anything special. It is only communist governments that can. And I will show you this because Mongolia can take it because they are communist. If we hop over to their tab, we can see steel wings and steel hearts. It's the only one like this. Okay. Back to the video now. Now there is exactly one other doctrine for the air, and this is it. It is specifically only on England, It is on no other country in the entire world that I have checked. That means all majors and all minors. Doesn't exist, and it's CAG night fighting. Your carrier night fighting penalty reduction by 33%. Why does the UK have this and the USA doesn't? I have no idea. The USA had CAG and the CAG night fighters with the Hellcat in World War II, but they don't have it. It's just England. This is useful if you pair it with night ops. Because in theory, if they both stack, you would have a minus 53 off night penalties. How useful is that? Not really in a naval combat. I wouldn't see it being a decisive factor there. But yeah, the UK is the only one that gets it, and I'm pretty sure it's just because they have the only night expert in the game. Yeah. If you found this guide helpful at all, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. There will be a link in the Discord. There'll be a link in the description to a Discord. It's my Discord. Come in there, ask questions. I will try to answer them to the best of your ability while we continue to unpack what NoStepBack has given us. Other than that, please have a nice day, and thanks for watching.